Have you ever noticed that some foods seem to come in and out of fashion, while others stand the test of time? Oats are one of those timeless foods that might remind you of childhood breakfasts or simple meals when the pantry was nearly empty. But here's something that may surprise you. Oats are still one of the most beneficial foods for adults over 65, and there's emerging wisdom about just how valuable they can be in a senior's daily routine. If you've been feeling uncertain about which carbohydrates are truly nourishing or struggling to find meal options that support your heart and digestion, oats may be the missing piece. Many older adults face the challenge of balancing what they love to eat with what their bodies need. For instance, you might feel bombarded with messages about cutting back on carbs, yet also hear that whole grains are essential. It can be confusing, especially if you've tried dieting fads in the past. The risk here is that if you cut out too many wholesome foods, you may end up missing critical nutrients like fiber, B vitamins, and minerals that become even more important with age. This is why understanding what oats actually do in your body and how to enjoy them daily could be a game changer for your overall health and vitality. When we talk about oats after age 65, the benefits go beyond the traditional notion of it's good for your heart. Indeed, there's more research now linking oats to better cholesterol management, steady energy levels, digestive regularity, and even emotional well-being tied to feeling full and satisfied. If you've ever felt that afternoon slump or restless nights, the steady energy release from a quality whole grain could help bring you back into balance. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 4 practical, easy-to-apply insights about why oats remain a top-tier superfood after 65. First, we'll tackle the myth that all carbs are bad, revealing exactly why the type of carbohydrate in oats is different and how it benefits you. Then we'll look at how this humble grain assists in maintaining healthy cholesterol levels, a significant concern for many older adults who want to keep their hearts strong. Next, we'll dive into digestion, an area where oats can shine by promoting regularity and offering gentle support for the gut. Finally, you'll learn approachable, tasty ways to include oats in your everyday meals, from classic breakfasts to creative lunch and dinner ideas. Throughout my experience advising older adults on food choices, I've seen again and again how small dietary changes can lead to remarkable improvements in energy, mood, and overall health outlook. I'm not claiming any quick fixes or guaranteed cures. Those don't exist. Instead, I'm inviting you to explore this familiar food with a fresh perspective. By the end of this conversation, you'll have the know-how to make oats a meaningful part of your day, every day in ways that are both simple and satisfying. So here's a question for you before we dive in. Do you remember the last time you really enjoyed a warm bowl of oatmeal or had a homemade oat-based snack? Think about that comforting feeling, and let's build on it together as we explore just how powerful this little grain can be. Let's start by challenging some common assumptions about bad carbs and see how oats might help you navigate those confusing messages that often lead us astray. Have you ever heard someone say all carbohydrates are off limits if you're watching your weight or worried about blood sugar? Many people over 65 carry this misconception, often due to outdated dietary advice that lumps all carbs into one category. This belief can lead us to avoid nutrient-packed whole grains like oats, missing out on essential vitamins, minerals, and especially fiber. And as we age, fiber becomes more than just an addition. It's a form of support for our digestive system, heart health, and even mood balance. Let's consider the story of Leonard, a 70-year-old retiree who had always tried to limit his carbohydrate intake. He was worried about developing type 2 diabetes because it ran in his family. Following the advice he'd heard over the years, he removed bread, rice, pasta, and most grains from his meals. Over time, though, Leonard noticed he felt fatigued and sometimes had trouble with constipation. In conversation with a dietitian, he learned that not all carbohydrates affect his body the same way. Processed, refined carbs can spike blood sugar levels and lack nutritional depth, but oats, being a whole grain, release energy more slowly and offer key nutrients. Intrigued, Leonard started incorporating half a cup of oats into his breakfast routine, and within a few weeks he noticed improved digestion and more stable energy levels throughout the day. Why the difference? Oats contain a complex network of vitamins, minerals, and a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. This fiber not only assists in slower digestion, supporting steady blood sugar management, but also keeps you feeling satisfied longer. It's a far cry from sugary cereals or white bread that cause blood sugar spikes. In Leonard's case, adding oats actually helped him moderate his overall carbohydrate intake because he wasn't constantly battling hunger. If you're worried that oats will spike your blood sugar, consider starting with a small portion. Cook your oats in water or low-fat milk and pair them with a protein source, like an egg or a small handful of nuts. This combination slows absorption and further stabilizes blood sugar. In practical terms, try mixing rolled oats with chia seeds or ground flax for extra fiber. Top with blueberries or sliced banana for natural sweetness. This approach transforms a simple breakfast into a balanced meal that's gentle on digestion and supports energy levels. Physically, the benefit lies in how your body processes beta-glucan fiber to maintain healthier blood sugar levels. Emotionally, it's about releasing the stress and anxiety that can come from constantly worrying about what to eat. By giving your body the right kind of carbs, you create a sense of nourishment and satisfaction that's hard to get from heavily processed foods. The next time someone warns you about the perils of carbohydrates, you can smile and let them know there's a big difference between refined flour and a whole grain like oats. You'll be honoring your body's need for steady fuel while enjoying the taste and comfort of an old favorite. Now that we've tackled the bad carb myth, let's take a closer look at one of the top reasons oats hold a special place in a senior's meal plan: heart health. It's easy to assume that once you hit a certain age, cholesterol concerns are almost a given. But many older adults mistakenly believe that there's nothing you can do about it once your numbers creep up. Let me introduce you to Gloria, 67, who had slightly elevated cholesterol. She told me, "I guess this is just what happens when you get older." Instead of resigning herself to this fate, Gloria decided to explore dietary strategies alongside her doctor's recommendations. One of the standout foods she discovered was oats. Unlike many cholesterol-lowering suggestions that feel restrictive, oats offered Gloria a simple, tasty addition to her routine. The real star here again is the soluble fiber beta-glucan, which has been shown to help reduce LDL, bad cholesterol levels, by binding with cholesterol-rich bile acids in the digestive tract and ushering them out of the body. Gloria's morning routine became a comforting ritual. She would start her day with a small bowl of oatmeal topped with sliced apple and a sprinkle of cinnamon. 3 months later, her follow-up blood work showed a modest but meaningful improvement in her cholesterol profile. While it wasn't a massive drop, nor a replacement for her physician's advice, it was progress. And the psychological boost from seeing that improvement encouraged Gloria to make other changes, like adding more vegetables to her diet and increasing her daily activity. The misconception here is thinking that only major interventions, like medications, can make a difference. In reality, dietary choices, especially when consistent, can have a gradual but notable impact. If you add half a cup of cooked oats to your meal plan most days of the week, you're taking a proactive step toward better heart health. Some seniors worry that changing a breakfast habit might disrupt their routine, but the good news is that oats are as easy as they are versatile. If you don't love warm oatmeal, consider overnight oats, where you soak the oats in milk or yogurt in the fridge. Add nuts, seeds, or berries, and breakfast is ready with almost no morning effort. Beyond the physical benefit of lowering bad cholesterol, the emotional payoff is feeling a sense of control over your well-being. That sense of agency can be huge for older adults who sometimes feel that health concerns are simply happening to them. By choosing oats regularly, you're taking part in a small daily act of self-care that resonates far beyond the breakfast table. If you're on any medication for cholesterol, make sure to keep your healthcare provider updated. While oats are a wonderful complement, it's important to track how all your approaches, whether nutritional or medicinal, work together. But imagine the feeling of opening up your lab results and seeing positive trends, knowing you've actively contributed to those improvements. A humble bowl of oats can be part of that story. Before we move on to how oats can make a difference in digestion, I'd love to pause for a moment and ask you to reflect. Have you found it challenging to get enough fiber in your daily meals? Sometimes jotting down what you eat for a few days can reveal whether you're hitting those marks. Feel free to share your thoughts or strategies with others. You might discover new ideas and inspire someone else along the way. Let's keep going and explore another big concern for many older adults: maintaining regular, comfortable digestion. It's tempting to think digestive troubles just come with age, but that mindset can lead many seniors to accept chronic discomfort, such as bloating, constipation, or irregular bowel movements. Brenda, at 74, had resigned herself to a cycle of over-the-counter laxatives every few weeks because she believed there was no real fix for her ongoing constipation. She also believed that fiber might only help a little bit, and she found it tough to make sense of different fiber sources. Yet when Brenda committed to a simple change, adding a daily serving of oats, she began to notice subtle improvements after a couple of weeks. Her bowel movements became more regular, and she didn't need laxatives as often. Part of the reason is that oats contain both soluble and insoluble fiber. The soluble fiber, as we've discussed, forms a gel-like consistency that can ease the passage of food through the gut, while the insoluble fiber adds bulk and helps prevent constipation. These fibers can also support a healthier balance of gut bacteria, which in turn influences everything from mood regulation to immune function. One misconception is that all fibers do the same thing, but in reality, different types of fiber have unique benefits. Insoluble fiber is what many associate with improved bowel regularity, while soluble fiber slows digestion and helps with blood sugar and cholesterol. Oats conveniently offer some of each, making them a versatile ally for your gut. If you're dealing with digestive sensitivities, you might worry about bloating or gas. In that case, try introducing oats in small amounts and gradually increase your portion. Consider a thinner porridge at first, or pair your oats with calming spices like ginger. Another approach is to incorporate oats in recipes that spread the fiber out, such as oat-based soups or veggie patties. For seniors who prefer variety, you could blend oats into a smoothie with fruits and yogurt, creating a fiber-rich drink that's gentle on the stomach. Physically, the benefit is smoother digestion, less straining, and fewer disruptions in daily life. Emotionally, easing digestive discomfort can improve your mood and confidence, making it easier to plan outings and social gatherings without the worry of sudden digestive issues. In Brenda's case, once her digestion improved, she felt more comfortable going on day trips with friends, something she had started to avoid. It's also important to mention that if you have specific digestive conditions like celiac disease or irritable bowel syndrome, it's wise to discuss dietary changes with your healthcare provider. Oats themselves are gluten-free, but they're often processed in facilities that handle wheat, so purity matters if you have gluten sensitivity. Beyond that, for most individuals, oats offer a gentle, nourishing form of fiber that can become the backbone of a digestive-friendly meal plan. Now that we've covered how oats can support both heart health and digestion, I invite you to check in with yourself. Do you notice any patterns in how you feel after you eat different types of grains or cereals? Bringing this kind of awareness can help you fine-tune your approach. Sometimes the solution is as simple as replacing a refined grain with a whole grain like oats. Speaking of solutions, let's move on to how you can incorporate oats into your daily routine without feeling stuck in a breakfast rut. At this point, you might be thinking, oats every day? Won't that get boring? That's a common concern, especially if you've only ever had oatmeal one way, perhaps with milk and sugar. But the truth is, oats are astonishingly versatile. You can enjoy them in sweet or savory dishes, and they can sneak into snacks and hearty main courses with a little creativity. Meet Carlos, 69, who found himself skipping breakfast altogether most mornings because he felt uninspired by typical cereal or toast options. He decided to experiment with overnight oats to save time in the morning. Each evening, he'd mix rolled oats with almond milk, a dash of cinnamon, and whatever fruit he had on hand, usually chopped peaches or berries. The next morning, he'd wake up to a ready-made meal he could enjoy at home or even take with him in a reusable container. This simple shift not only gave him more energy, but it also helped him regulate his appetite throughout the rest of the day. But oats aren't limited to breakfast. If you're more of a savory food lover, consider using oats as a base for a vegetable and herb pilaf. Cook the oats in low-sodium broth, then stir in sautéed vegetables, herbs, and maybe a sprinkle of cheese. Another option is to use oats in place of breadcrumbs and meatloaf or burgers. When finely ground, oats can add structure and moisture without the extra refined carbs. They also make a fantastic thickener for soups and stews. Imagine a comforting vegetable soup on a chilly evening, enriched with just enough oats to give it a satisfying thickness, all while adding valuable fiber and nutrients. If you've got a sweet tooth, try baking oat-based muffins or oatmeal cookies that incorporate healthier ingredients. You can add mashed banana, applesauce, or pureed pumpkin for sweetness and moisture, cutting down on added sugar. These treats feel indulgent, but come with the added benefit of whole grain fiber. That's the key, making small yet meaningful tweaks to traditional recipes so they become more nourishing while still being delicious. From a practical standpoint, buying oats in bulk can be cost-effective, and they store well in a sealed container in a cool, dry place. If you're pressed for time or have limited kitchen space, microwavable oats can still be a healthy choice. Just pay attention to added sugars and flavorings. And if you're concerned about medication timing, consider that high-fiber foods can sometimes affect how certain medications are absorbed. It's a good practice to take your medications an hour before or 2 hours after a high-fiber meal, but always check with your healthcare provider for personalized guidance. Emotionally, exploring new oat-based recipes can spark creativity and enjoyment in the kitchen. There's something gratifying about discovering a new way to use a simple staple, especially one that supports your health. Seniors often share with me that trying new recipes helps them reconnect with cooking and mealtime in a positive way, turning what could feel like a chore into an act of self-expression and care. Before you know it, you might have a week's worth of oat-based ideas that fit seamlessly into your life. Whether it's an easy overnight oats recipe, a hearty oat and veggie soup, or a simple baked muffin for an afternoon snack, the key is to experiment until you find what truly delights your taste buds and meets your nutritional goals. After all, the easiest healthy eating plan to stick to is one that actually tastes good. So where do you see yourself adding oats into your schedule? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or maybe even dessert? Take a moment to visualize a specific meal that you could modify or enhance with oats. That tiny spark of inspiration can lead to real transformation over time. We've covered how oats can challenge the bad carb myth, support heart health by targeting cholesterol, aid in comfortable digestion, and offer delicious, varied ways to fit into your everyday routine. These 4 insights can empower you to see oats in a whole new light. A powerhouse grain that addresses common health concerns in a practical, enjoyable way. As we wrap up, let's revisit the bigger picture. Why does any of this matter? It's because your daily choices add up. Making one small change, like eating oats regularly, can influence your energy levels, digestion, and even cholesterol numbers, which in turn affects your long-term independence and quality of life. Rather than feeling overwhelmed by a dozen different health guidelines, zeroing in on something as accessible as oats can simplify your approach. Yet it's important to take action before minor annoyances become bigger health issues. If your goal is to stay active, manage your cholesterol, and keep your digestion running smoothly, introducing oats now could set you up for more comfortable and confident golden years. Picture waking up with steady energy, looking forward to a hearty and wholesome breakfast, and then going about your day without the nagging worry of mid-morning fatigue or afternoon slumps. It's not about a quick fix. It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle that honors your body's changing needs. In practical terms, you could start by planning one oat-based meal this week. Maybe it's a Monday morning oatmeal with fruit, or perhaps you'll try an oat-based muffin recipe for the weekend. If you're already someone who enjoys oats regularly, consider branching out, like trying a savory oat dish for dinner or baking your own oat crackers. The point is to do what feels right for your taste preferences and schedule, knowing that each step moves you closer to better nourishment. If you feel inspired, share this newfound perspective with a friend or family member who might also benefit. You can compare recipe ideas or even make a batch of oat muffins together. For a deeper dive, keep notes on how your body responds after a few weeks. Check in on your energy levels, digestion, and any changes in health markers if you happen to have upcoming medical appointments. Sometimes seeing tangible results, even small ones, is the best motivation to continue. No matter where you are in your health journey, remember that you hold the power to make informed, mindful choices. Oats won't solve every health challenge, but they can be a steady ally in your corner. So as you carry this knowledge forward, let it remind you that you have options and that you can adapt your diet in ways that truly support you. Here's one final encouragement. Never underestimate the positive ripple effect of simple daily habits. Incorporating oats might seem like a modest shift, but it can set off a chain reaction of healthier decisions. From trying other whole grains to being more adventurous in the kitchen, small steps can lead to significant changes over time. You deserve a life filled with vitality, comfort, and enjoyment at the table. Embrace oats, enjoy the journey, and watch how these small bowls of goodness may gently uplift your overall well-being. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you're ready to take a step, pick just one new way to try oats in the coming week. If you're excited and want to share your experience or favorite recipes, I'd love to hear them. And of course, if you found this helpful, consider sharing it with others who might benefit. Here's to embracing the power of a humble grain and to finding joy and health in the simple act of savoring each meal.